You probably don't know about Grandma. She is more than an amateur psychologist. And I learned so much about raising children from her. When I first married into the family, besides finding out I had the favorite daughter, I was here one day with our 1-year-old, Kira, the light of our life, and Grandma said, whatever you do when you raise her, don't do anything but be mean to your kids. And I thought, whoa, my sweet little daughter, she's just perfect, and I'm going to be mean to her. Didn't quite understand that. A little later on, I did. Lane came in one day, and as a teenage boy, he was about 14, he was mouthing off. Grandma grabbed me by the neck and just slapped the crap out of me. All 4 feet of her. But Grandpa was right behind with all 6 feet of him. A little later on, we had a prima donna, our miss, another cheerleader, Peggy. Peggy went to a stake dance, and the love of her life didn't ask her to dance. And she came home boo-hooing and just totally devastated. And her mother said, well, just shut up and go to bed. And she did. The next morning, she was still boo-hooing. And Mom said, go out and clean the chicken coop. And I thought, where's the loving concern and kindness? And anyway, she went out, cleaned the chicken coop. And she came back. By the time she was back for breakfast, she was all smiles, and she said, there's a lot of other fish in the stream, and I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. And, it was all over. Great psychology. Work seems to be the answer for a lot of things. And I appreciate the things that you taught your daughter and you taught me and our grandkids, because it really is the answer to a lot of things. I couldn't have finessed that Peggy incident any better. I'd have probably sat down and talked with her for 4 or 5 hours about how bad it was, and the guy was no good anyway, and so forth. But anyway, and contrary to the favorite daughter, I think she's the favorite daughter too, but there's all the other daughters that are very favorite, in my opinion, too. All wonderful ladies, and I love them all. I had to tell Mom when she was in Arizona with us a few months ago, that she couldn't tell me she was responsible for raising the favorite daughter, because I've been responsible for longer than you have now, at least 10 years. At any rate, it is a wonderful family, and I appreciate all that you have taught and all that you did for me and all of our family, our kids, the many years that they came out and spent a month on the farm. I'm sure that wasn't easy, knocking down haystacks and other things. But they learned a lot, and they always had a great time with their cousins. When Jolene and I got married, we sat down and said, well, how should we raise our kids? And she said, well, I like the way my mom and dad did it. And I said, well, I like the way my mom and dad did it. And so we decided to do the same thing. I'm sure it wasn't always right, but I think we try to teach all our kids to work and be respectful, and sometimes we booted them. Jolene taught me that after you work them hard, you're supposed to give them a reward of some kind. I had to learn that one. I guess that was a lesson that I missed. I At any rate, Mom, I love you. Thankful for you. And for all you've done for this posterity.
For Sam, he's gonna try a different route because the next one you gotta hear a video. But sheesh, this is like the sacred spot. Anyways, when I was going from a junior to senior in high school, I got cut from the basketball team, and that's not why I'm crying. But when I got cut from the basketball team, it really hurt my pride, and I was really upset by it. But it didn't hurt my pride enough to make me ride the bus. And my mom told me, she goes, you either take the kids to school and you wait for them, because of course all my other siblings made the team and they kept going, but I either had to ride the bus to get home, or I had to take them to school, and then I had to wait at grandma's, because heaven forbid we take multiple trips to Rigby. So on those days, because I didn't want to take the bus, I would go and hang out with Grandpa and Grandma. And in my afternoons, at first, I would always just kind of lay on the couch and be sad that I wasn't able to play basketball, but Grandma would always bring me a root beer float, and she would tell me that we're having more fun here anyways than we are at the school. And so little by little, I started opening up, and towards the end, me, Grandpa, and Grandma, while watching America's Next Top Model, would be tying quilts. And it wasn't their movie of choice, but I know Grandma was doing it because it was a weird transition time in my life, but Grandma's always been there for me, and it was just kind of those are the days that I remember of all my school days, because I knew that even if Grandpa wasn't there, Grandma was always going to be there waiting for me to come after school during those sporting events. So that's going to be a time that I always cherish. Our time is spent together a little bit differently now. It's spent more with just hanging out and bathing, but we usually have a really good time and we have some good chats, but not together. But Grandma's going to be always one. If you need a confidence boost, go to her, because she's going to tell you how pretty you are all the time and that you're her favorite, and currently I'm the favorite, so you guys better get over and talk to her to hear your status these days. So love you, Grandma. We're glad we could do this for you.
Well, it's debatable which one's the favorite, but guess I'll come in second today. So one of my favorite memories with Grandma was she had all the trampolines. You know, that was the famous staple at her house. So I'm up at college, and I'm like, hey, I gotta go to my grandma's house. It's so fun. We're gonna project a movie on the side of the house. It's gonna be awesome. So we all pull up, and Grandma is outside in her one-piece garments, in her boots, and I am there with all my college friends. I just loved it because that's how I knew Grandma. So I hurry and I'm like, everybody shut your eyes! And I hopped out of the car, got Grandma all cuddled up in my arms, and we ran inside. And then I just told my friends I was normal, and it was no big deal. And they all got very up and personal with Grandma that day, and they all love Grandma for that reason as well. And then another one of my favorite memories was really just made yesterday, and I know I've told it to a couple people, but Sarah and I were helping Grandma get ready, and we were bathing her, and it was kind of like, you guys have seen Mulan, we'll have you wash me dry. Anyways, we love Grandma, and we love living so close to her, and to see her as often as we'd like to stop in. So, love you, Grandma, and we're really glad to be here today.
Cry with my testimony meeting. Here are my memories of Grandma. We didn't live very close, but we had that month every summer. My favorite funny memory is one time, I was probably about 14, maybe 15, and I came and I was complaining that my thighs were fat, and they weren't fat then. So Grandma got out this little contraption, the ropes on the door.
We all know it's
Told me if I would do that little thing, I would have the skinny thighs, and obviously I didn't do it, and that's why I'm where I am.
You can take it home.
I need it back. All right. Grandma is the one time she brought me a root beer float. Well, it was like cream soda with sherbet in it. And I was like, what is that? What is this? What kind of combination? And I was introduced to the any kind of soda, any kind of ice cream. And then, on a more serious note, after I got home from my mission, I was dating Mark, and I was concerned about his lack of a career. And I was sitting in the bathroom, on the side of the bathtub, and Grandma came in and said, "Oh crap, Kira, what do you need money for?" So we're happy. We don't have money still. And my last one is when I got pregnant with the twins. They were my fourth and fifth, and my mom was over, and she said, "You have to call Grandma and tell her." So I called her, and I said, "Guess what, Grandma? We're having twins." She said, "Well, you're half done." That was it. Anyway, we love you, Grandma.
She called them her sorbets. Any cocktail, any ice cream, soda, it was Grandma's sorbets. And it was a treat when you went to go visit. Grandma, I love you. I've always been her favorite. And I know that joke gets old, but I've always been her Grandma. Just nod your head. Just nod. A lot of memories growing up with Grandma, so close. A lot of chicken coops cleaned. A lot of animals fed on Granny. Anyway, always remember the biscuit runs on Sunday. Those are always, it's where we all learn to drive. For some of you Utah people who wouldn't come on Sundays, we didn't go to the driver's ed. Well, we went, but we'd start driving with Grandma early, huh, Grandma? As soon as we could steer. As soon as we reached the height limit, as taller than her, she let us drive her car. So, anyway.
We learned in the Skylark.
Yep, the green Skylark. Bless that car. There was only a couple of times we could have had an accident, but we didn't. So, anyway, love you, Grandma. So grateful for you. You're a great example of everything to me. Love you.
But she's not feeling too well, so I'm just going to read it. We love our granny rounds a ton. Our memories are filled with fun. In the snow or in the heat, having granny rounds is always a treat. When mom was just a teen, granny rounds made quite a scheme. She might have been about 75, but she acted like a 12-year-old beehive. And as the tubes started to glide, the snow around them started to fly. The four-wheeler Grandpa drove made deep tracks in the snow. It was a really wild ride, but all the kids got a big surprise. Although they thought she'd be first to fall, Granny held on longer than all. Dad has thought your chicken noodle soup is so great, it's still his favorite to this day. We love your stories and wisdom too. We love to sit and talk to you. My siblings and I remember the fun we always had at Granny's in the sun. We'd run around like hooligans, then we'd take a break and start again. Let's see. We love the different trampolines and all the toys and other things. There's space to giggle and laugh and play, and we could stay at Granny's house all day. I remember all the ice cream cones. I'd eat and eat before my parents took me home. I'd get so full I'd fear I'd burst, but surely one more ice cream wouldn't hurt. Granny around us worked so much, raising a family with just the right touch. Sacrifice, hard work, trust, and love too. Granny is Granny, your family loves you.